What do I think about Biden's proposed tax increases? Someone commented on one of my videos about my thoughts on that. All right, so let's go into it, and we'll dive into it a little bit. Stay to the video so you can see what I think. Stay until the end of the video, and I'll unleash all the knowledge of what God has exists and wants us to do. All right, 1 second. That's on a side note. You know why video people do that, right? And that way you stay through the video to watch all the ads. Stay through the video. Be sure to watch the end of the video, and you will find out what the meaning of life is. And of course, usually by the end of the video, like all right, so here we go. This is from UPI. All right, Biden to unveil 2023 budget, expected to ask for increase in military spending and tax on wealthy. Oh, can we stop with the increase in military spending, for heaven's sake, man? The Pentagon already gets like $775 billion a year. If they can't make ends meet with $775 billion a year, then we don't need to give them any more money. Of course, the biggest culprits of the increasing right here is the Republicans, because the Republicans are part of the military-industrial complex. Rep. Mike Rogers from Alabama, and Jim Inhofe, who I like Jim Inhofe when it comes to anti-climate change crap, but sent a letter requesting that Biden increase military spending by 5%. Because the threats to our national security have grown exponentially over the last year. They've grown exponentially, have they? No, they have not. Just, it's so idiotic. We spend so much on defense, and what do we use the defense for? Not the defense, to go on the offense. Let's stop going on the offense. How about that, guys? All right, and maybe we can use some of that savings to improve our infrastructure. How about that? All right, so I just stupid, man, freaking garage up the wall. Yeah, Trump had a bigger increase, which was stupid too. I just don't. All right. Anyway, so Biden's budget proposal expected to include a billionaire minimum income tax that would impose a 20% income tax on all households worth more than $100 million, and impact the 700 richest people in the U.S. So I didn't get that. There's more than 700 people worth $100 million in the United States, I think. And I don't know. I frankly don't care all that much, but I imagine there's more than 700 people worth $100 million, but maybe there's not. Don't know. Let's see. So we'll read about this. Monday's proposal comes in the face of rising inflation, which rose by 7.9% in the 12 months ending in February. The steepest 12-month increase since September 1982. Wait. September 1982? That's impossible. 1982, interest rates are way up here. But wait a second, 1981, interest rates were at 15.8%. How can that possibly be, that a high interest rate of 15.8 didn't whip inflation? Oh, the year before that is still 12%. How could that possibly be? So these rates weren't high enough to whip inflation? So it's only right there that we whipped inflation. It's just so freaking idiotic. The idea that high interest rates are going to be inflation. Well, how come that didn't be inflation here, the highest they ever been? How come they didn't be inflation there, the highest they ever been? How come they didn't beat inflation there, the second highest ever been, other than 1798? Stupid. All right, so anyway, let's just go back. Here's Biden's proposed 20% billionaire tax. Sniffy Joe is expected to unveil a 20% tax on the ultra wealthy as part of his 2023 budget. It would impact the 700 richest people, establishing a tax on households worth $100 million. Let's see. The document detailing the tax plan was obtained by CNBC. It would propose levy was supposed to reduce the federal deficit. Remember, deficit is just the amount of money that we're underwater. All right, so if your debt is your accumulation of deficits, if you spend $100 billion and you only have $80 billion of income, your deficit is $20 billion, which is in addition to the debt you've already accumulated. So that just because it reduces the deficit by about 360, we still have hundreds of billions of dollars of deficits. So don't be, they're going to reduce the deficit. It doesn't matter. The minimum tax would make sure the wealthiest Americans no longer pay a tax rate, or whatever. Billionaires pay much lower tax than the average American because the source of their income comes from capital gains. Any increases in the value of their stock holdings aren't taxed until those assets are sold. allowing them to borrow against accumulated gains without triggering a capital gain tax. Well, what happens when the market goes down? They borrowed against those things. They get what's called a margin call. And then they got to trigger the tax, which is what? Which is taxed, which they're going to pay tax that 1 year. Huge capital gain tax for sure. All right, let's keep going. Analysis by Sniffy Joe's Council for Economic Advisors found that the country's 400 wealthiest households pay an average federal income tax of just 8.2%. All right, so let's see what right here. I don't know if I can be able to read the Washington. Let's go with the CNBC thing here because I don't think I'll be able to read the Washington Post. There we go. Over half the revenue can come from those with worth more than $1 billion. The Sniffy Joe. All right. The minimum tax makes sure the wealthiest. Okay, we already talked about that. If a wealthy household is already paying 20% on their full income, they won't pay an additional tax under the proposal. If they pay less than 20%, they'll owe a top-up payment. All right, so let's talk about what I think. I don't have any qualm with it at all, man. None whatsoever. The idea that this is going to hurt the markets is just stupid. Did you not see that Jeff Bezos' wife just gave $275 million to Planned Parenthood to help black women? Weird. Anyway, so where did that money come from? Oh, she sold stock. Interesting. So did that hurt the stock of Amazon? I don't think it did. Did you know that Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, all these guys give billions, theoretically millions of years of their stock to charities? Now, I got no qualm with that. But Josh, don't you remember the AMT, the alternative minimum tax? Yes, I do. And the way these sneaky guys got it, so I actually had to pay AMT in 2017. It freaking ticked me off, not going to lie to you. The way they did it, though, is they did not adjust it for inflation, just like the tax on Social Security. That's as a snake, which Reagan signed in 1983, and Clinton signed a second part of that in 1993. Neither were indexed for inflation. So if you index this for inflation, it will never hit you. I say never, unless you become ultra wealthy. If you don't index it for inflation, it probably will at some point. Probably. It probably won't, but there is a potential that you could be hit with the AMT or the billionaire's tax, 50 years from now. Just like what happened. They passed the AMT in, 1975 or something like that? And I got hit with it in 2017, 45 years later. So at the end of the day, yes, you could be affected by that 100%. The AMT didn't cause the markets to collapse. How do we know? Because from 1982 to 1999, the markets went gangbusters. It just didn't happen, man. And then even the odds, it wasn't because of the AMT that caused the markets to collapse. I mean, it's just as stupid. Don't have this idea that if they pass a billionaire's tax, that is going to make the markets fall. That's what they try to convince you. What I would do if I wanted to raise revenue, and I don't want the government having any more than they have, but what I would do is I would say there's no more charitable contribution deductions. None. And Biden was proposing to do that. I don't know if he's still doing it or not. He says your max charitable, I can't remember, it was like 28% or so, I can't remember. But I said, no, if you're worth more than, I don't know, 100 million bucks, you get no charitable deduction. None. That's what I would do. I would tax the foundations 100%. I say if you aren't giving 10% of your foundational wealth, we're going to tax you 100%. These foundations are perpetual, man. The Ford Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation, these guys are evil incarnate, and they're perpetual. And what they do is it's a cash cow to the wealthy elite, David Rockefeller types like that, who fund the globalist Davos crowd. And those are the people you need to go after. Now, if you can start with a billionaire, I got no qualm with that. I think at the end of the day, this whole thing that tax rates hurt the economy, that's just simply not true. I mean, it could. But at the end of the day, if we raise taxes on billionaires, oh my goodness, and I know it's not quite billionaires, they'll never invest again. It's just stupid, man. It's dumb. There's no evidence of that whatsoever. And as such, let's go with the issue that we want to reduce the power of the wealthy. And if we have to do that by taxing, we should do that a little bit. I got no qualm with that. If I have to turn in my conservative Republican card, I'm all for that. Ben Stein was arguing for this back in 2005. I always said, Ben Stein. Well, I remember this is when I was still under the auspices of the conservative corporatist of the GOP. How dare you raise taxes on the rich? Well, I had no money, man. I didn't have two nickels to rub together. But I did not want them to raise taxes on the rich because it's going to hurt me. Stupid. It's just dumb. And at the end of the day, it's like now the rich have got wealthier, they got more control of the world, and as such, let's minimize that. If that means to tax them a little bit, I got no qualm at all. Anyway, it's not going to affect your portfolio. It's not going to hurt you. You're not going to be subject to it unless you make a hell of a lot of money, the next 50 years if it's not indexed for inflation. Presumably it would be, but the devil's in the details, of course.